All right, all right, all right.
All right, yes, sir. We are back with the
Yes, sir.
NBA. Yes, sir.
Yes.
What a last big couple of weeks. I don't think we've actually had a podcast, but a big congratulations to certainly a team that I've got a really soft place for deep down in my hollow heart is the Nuggets. What a playoff run altogether. Really dominated the West, dominated the Miami Heat. What are your thoughts, mate?
Congratulations to the Nuggets. They were fantastic. Some key points. I'm really happy when a new team has never won a championship wins one. A sport that has a draft to try and keep the big teams from staying at the top is still very much Celtics, Lakers, those kind of teams that still dominate. Got Golden State of recent. So it's great when let's call it a smaller club can jag one and win a chip. So very happy for them. They've done it the hard way. They haven't signed any world-class players that they've drafted really well over the last 5-7 years.
They're not a place free agents go to, right?
No, exactly. You don't go to Denver
For their party scene. Yeah.
So they've done really well. They've done it the right way. Good coach. They've stuck by him. They've watched Jokic grow. The people around him. They stuck by Murray when he got injured. So it's a good story for the NBA. Like I said, I didn't care if it was the Heat because it was a good story for them as well, coming from the play-in, knocking out all the really tough teams in the East. I really thought the winner of this year would come from the East. I thought it was the 4 or 5 championship level teams in it. Heat not being one of them. So I wouldn't have minded them winning it as well, but always happy the Nugs to get it done. And then when you see them all partying and celebrating how much it means, it's nice to see.
Yeah. I mean, I think, as you said, Murray asked Mark Malone on a bus after he did his ACL. This is after he was shit hot in the bubble. The next season, he then does his ACLs out for the best part of 18 months. Thought they were going to trade him. They stuck with him. They've done the same with Porter Jr., who they took out of high school. I think he was number one prospect in high school. He's had his injury concerns, and they've given him a massive contract. So I think between the three, Jokic, Murray and Porter Jr., the only thing concern is with the new rules around CBA and the like, I think they're literally going to have to really work their magic in the front office around players are going to come in and contribute. I think Brown is opted out of his $6 million deal, so he'll probably feel after his good performance that he can pick up some more cash elsewhere.
He's going to check out free agency. But again, they've got the two big players. Everyone else is dressing for that anyway. So I don't think that's a real killer. They'll really bring in other players that want to play on the championship.
The guy that I love, and I'd love him at the Celtics, is Aaron Gordon. I mean, I thought he was great. At the Magic, obviously not valued, went there. I mean, he defended Jimmy Butler incredibly well. I think he's 6'10", 6'11", super mobile. He's a tough guy.
Defended LeBron,
he's tough.
Defended KD. I mean,
he just sits on you, as you can imagine. But Butler's had a lot to do, given he's by far and away the best player, and so to have him sitting on top of Butler and just leaning on him, I think he was just gassed Butler in the end. And then he's brilliant at getting to the paint when you just need someone to go and put a few aggressive dunks on, to frighten the opposition or to sort of bash a few boys over. He's really physical but super athletic. So really like Aaron Gordon. But congratulations to the Nuggets.
He's been great. Yeah, congrats. So
the draft
with this season done, the draft is upon us. If you're going to ask who's going to be number one in the draft, it's a silly question. Pretty much guaranteed that Victor Wembanyama is the number one pick.
I wonder if the bookies are even taking a bet on that.
I wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't.
Bet a million to win a dollar.
If someone came in and said we'll give you 2 gun players for your number one pick, then that's the only way I can see them the Spurs not taking them. Like if they got offered like an amazing trade, the way Carolina Panthers did with the Bears, to get the number one pick, but. What club has those kind of players to give away to get them?
But it's not only that; it's also the commercial value that he'll bring to the organisation. How much sort of cash, marketing in France, he'll get, leading on from Tony Parker and what he did as a Frenchman. He's definitely going number one.
So Wembanyama's definitely going to go number one. He's going to go to Spurs. The Hornets, I believe, have number 2 pick. I think it's Miller. Is it Brandon Miller from Alabama? I think he's favourite to go there. And then you have
Scoot Henderson.
Scoot Henderson. He's going to go number 3, and he'll end up at
I think Scoot was a guarantee to go number 2 up until this last year. He's very much a sort of John Morant, Derrick Rose type. Where I mean, the guy's got bigger arms, and I've got legs, absolutely massive. So he's going to be explosive getting to the rim. I think the weak point in his game is obviously shooting, albeit he's early on in his career. But he's very much a guy that needs to get to the rim. But he's a decent playmaker.
If he goes 3 and ends up in Portland, it's just that there's all this talk now: is Damian Lillard going to leave? But if he stays, that's a good piece.
I think that's a big spot to watch for a trade, because apparently Dame, if he's going to stay, only wants to play with vets to try get them over the line. Apparently he wants to stay. Woj has reported that he's not that the Blazers aren't taking any calls for trades, because I think Dame to Miami was a big talking point, and that certainly looks like it was going to be a good fit.
Yeah, if they traded Dame just for picks, right, they could finish bottom next year. You know what I mean? Like that, they don't have any other real star players or any good players really. So
no one's going to finish bottom other than the Wizards after the last couple of days of trades, giving up Beal and Porzingis, and Kuzma's probably going to work his way out.
Well, I mean, they're building for the future. They're going to have a lot of picks, a bit like OKC did a few years ago.
Yeah, they're going to bottom out. They just say the next draft is that they reckon is going to be one of the worst in history, which is why they maybe they reckon 2024 is a shocker. To be fair, they do say that a lot, and then there's always a couple of players that emerge. But yeah, I mean, you've got 3 studs in this draft that you'd imagine should be pretty dependable.
You've got the Thompson brothers as well. Who are probably going to go top 10. That there's talk they could go 4 and 5, or they could certainly go one after the other. And there was talk that maybe someone would try and trade to get both picks, so they could get them both. That would be pretty cool, having twin brothers in the same team. But especially, it'd be quite confusing for defending because they look identical. So that could have been a good tactic. But this draft looks quite good, to be fair. But yeah, as you say, next year could be a bit of a stinker. Yeah,
I think Miller, given his length and he shoots the ball really good from 3, should go 2. I could see the Blazers trading 3.
The Hornets have said they've been really keen on Miller. They've kind of come out and said that, and they've got number 2 pick, so why would they lie? So it does look like he'll go there, and then Scoot is guaranteed 3 if he doesn't go 2, because that's the 3 best players by country mile.
In other big news, mate, the big trade today was the Celtics looked like they were trading Brogdon to the Clippers to pick up Porzingis from the Wizards in a 3-team trade, but I'm not sure if the Clippers were delaying the deal or if it was something about Brogdon's injury. But they ended up pivoting and actually trading away Marcus Smart, who's the longest-serving player in the team. So a bit of a kick in the guts for all our Celtic fans.
Did it the year last year, the year before? Was he not like all team defence?
He was defensive player of the year last year. Yeah, I mean he's a really good player. I do get frustrated with him at times in terms of his playmaking.
Getting Porzingis for Brogdon is genius. Getting Porzingis for Smart is awful. So it's gone from being like a real winning trade to what have we done?
Well, what they're doing is they've got to look after the cap, and albeit. Is it what is it? Tingus Pingus. Do you ever remember the clip of the New York Knicks, the fans when they drafted Porzingis, and the guys like Tingus Pingus. Who the hell is that? I mean, he had a couple of great years at the Knicks. Him and Doncic didn't get on at all in the Mavs, and then he's had a great year. Despite nobody watching the Wizards, he's had a really good year. So a guy that's 7'1", that can shoot the ball well from 3 and will pick up 10 rebounds a game, I can see them probably moving on from Horford as well.
He's a perfect spot for Celtics. I just think losing Smart for him is too much. He'll definitely add a different dimension to the
Celtics. They're obviously backing Derek White. You know, in that scenario, they obviously see him as the linchpin of the 3 point guards.
He's nowhere near as good a defender, but
he's not a bad defender at all. But yeah, I mean, he was a streaky player in terms of 3. Smart. he got overly loose with the ball. That's was Celtic's big problem the last couple of years, is amount of turnovers. Him and Brown in particular were culprits of turning the ball over quite easily. So it should be interesting. I mean, it looks like, I mean, you look at Jaylen Brown's going to get 290 million in the Supermax, which just sort of is unreal. And then Tatum would get 300 odd the season before. So with these new CBA rules, if you go into luxury tax, you're actually, the fines have gone up tenfold, I think. So I think they've probably got one more year where Tingus Pingus is on 36 million, which is still a big chunk of change. I think he's got 1 year, so it looks like they've given up Marcus Smart for potentially 1 year of Tingus Pingus. We'll see how that works out. But the other major trade is Bradley Beal for a load of picks and trash for Bradley Beal.
Suns have pretty much, the Suns have just slapped their cock on the table and said, "This is our year. If we don't win it, we're fucked. If we do win it, we're fucked after that anyway. But at least we'll have a championship." They have literally gone all in on next season.
Yeah, we could make their bench, mate. We could make their bench.
I'm not joking. I literally think my gran could make their bench at the moment. They have 4 players or 5 players. Now, listen, they need Kevin Durant to stay healthy, which is not a guarantee. He's 35. They need Devin Booker to stay healthy. That is more of a guarantee. And they need Beal to settle in. But
Beal's been injured the last couple of years.
Yeah, but they need him to stay healthy.
2 big question marks.
To stay healthy. Maybe possibly the best 5 in the league. But I think they're not going to play them 80 games a season, which means you're going to have a weak team when they're not playing together. They're obviously going to hope to get high up into the playoffs and then just win from maybe 5th or 6th in the playoffs. But yeah, like I said, they've got no draft picks for the next few years. The luxury tax is going to be through the roof because they're paying at least 4 players all over 40 million a year. So they're in huge financial troubles. So
I think the big one for me,
it's a one season.
I can see them. I can see them moving on from Ayton. I can see them shifting Ayton just to get some more players, and he's on a big contract.
There's talk if they can get 2 decent players for Ayton, then they'll do it. Like if they can get a good defender and a bang average centre or something like that, they might do it. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, by the looks of all the trades they've done and how much money they've spent, they're all in on 2024. And like I said, I think even if they win in 2024, they're screwed 2025 anyway. But they'll have a championship. If they don't win it next year, it's all been in vain, and they're going to be probably near the bottom half again when all those players leave, and they've got no picks. So it's a big risk, but the reward is you can win a championship. You know. What I mean? So
they'll rustle up some players. I mean, one of the Morris twins has gone to the Wizards in the Tingus Pingus trade. So it's just even guys like that, getting a couple of vets in.
But even you look at your boy Griffin, who sat on the bench for the Celtics. Guys that don't need the money, and they're chasing a ring. That will go for $1 million a year or $2 million a year or something stupid. They can fill the bench. So I don't think it'll be a big problem filling the bench. It's just the quality level will drop significantly.
So where would you rate them as things stand? Where would you rate them in terms of title contenders?
Kevin Durant's fully fit. I'll say they'll be the team to beat in the West. I think they'll be they'll probably be the
better than the Nuggets. Yeah.
I think they'll beat the Nuggets. If you look on this season, the Nuggets' hardest games were the Suns.
Yeah.
They rolled.
I'm not a big fan of the sort of superstar piece. I don't think we've seen it work. But having said that, the one team that the Nuggets did actually have some half decent opposition against was the Suns, and technically they're a better team as things stand.
Yeah.
But you've got to get some decent role players.
I think the Suns can win the West as it stands now. The Lakers haven't done any business yet, and they'll probably be stronger. Golden State look as if they'll be the same, which is going to be tough because they're a good team. And the Nuggets, if they keep the same players, then obviously they'll be right up there as well. Yeah. Memphis was smart, and if Ja Morant comes back, I think he's got a long suspension, but
25
they
games
could be up there as well. But yeah, I'm going to take I'll take the Suns right now with a fully fit Durant to make to win
the Durantula.
Yeah, but I still don't know if that'd be good enough to beat the Celtics or the Bucks or whoever comes out the East. But
yeah, I can imagine the Kings backing up last season with another good season, so it should be interesting. Obviously, Draymond Green's opted out of his contract, so I think the idea will be is that he'll get a more improved deal and a longer deal.
Yep.
So for me, the only way that this all works is if Clay's going to take a hit on the salary. He doesn't seem overly inclined to do it, given what he said in the public. So whether it's shifting Poole and keeping Clay, but you can't pay Clay a max. There's no ways the guy's worth it, especially after the injuries. Unfortunately, that's just the reality. So if you got him for 70 million over a few years, fair enough. Steph loves him. You keep the band together, but otherwise, I think you've got to make a tough call if you want to continue the dynasty.
Well,
so
it's
should be interesting to see what happens.
He's not shooting his threes, and that was his kind of star thing. Like he was good for 4 or 5 threes, and now he's good for 1 or 2. It's just not the same.
But also he was top class defender, and that's where
he can't defend
lost
anymore
it.
either.
Yeah, he's lost it. So I think it should be interesting, mate. I think we're going to see. But it's good to see the Celtics making some big plays, albeit being safe on the 2 stars. But it should be interesting to see what happens with Harden at the 76ers. And what happens with Kyrie and whether he hangs around Dallas.
Harden and Embiid. There's talk of Embiid as well being the problem. So I mean, like he plays for himself, doesn't play for the team, all that stuff. So
I think it's just the style that they've played. But they need technically. I think the plus minus is actually better with Embiid off the floor, despite him being MVP. But Harden, I think, is going to get a kick up the ass with Nick Nurse there. I would have loved to see Nick Nurse join the Celtics. I thought he was the best coach of all the good coaches on the market.
What's happening with the Celtics coach? Are they keeping
They've got a couple of really good, even a former assistant coach. They've really surrounded him with a lot of proven and experienced coaches. So they're surrounding Joe Mazzulla with experience. Like I said, they lost Ed Hardy, who was probably next in line to the Jazz. Yep, sticking with him, and they're surrounding him with a lot of experience. So, I mean, he's a little bit like Brad Stevens in the fact that he came from, smaller sort of backgrounds, and obviously Brad Stevens rates him highly. So, the trades that he's been doing, Brad Stevens, I think he's been brilliant. He's obviously, to coin a phrase from you, putting his dick on the block with sticking with Joe Mazzulla. Because I thought the big one was to just get ahead of the curve and try and make a run at Nick Nurse while he was available. Because I thought he was the best available of what was 4 or 5 really good coaches. What do you think about Kyrie? Have you heard? Have you heard they've the 76ers? They've replaced a doc for a nurse.
Yeah, they've gone backwards.
So that should be interesting to see how they fare. I think they'll be much better. I would sack off Tobias Harris. But it should be interesting to see if Harden stays around.
That's the thing. They paid Tobias Harris, which meant they had to get rid of Jimmy Butler.
185 million for 5 years. And this is years ago. I know. Unbelievable.
Imagine choosing Harris over Jimmy Butler.
But in a way, that's perfect for me, given I'm a Celtics fan. The arch rivals, they've done nothing but shoot themselves in the foot with what's happened with Ben Simmons.
They're terribly run organisation. Have been for 40 years. Now, just to finish on NBA, Kawhi Leonard at the Clippers, is he staying or going, and is Paul George staying or going? What's happening with these two?
I think they're looking at. I mean, the owner, former Microsoft boy, I think he's certainly got a bit aggro, but he's probably chilled out a bit from what I gather. So I think they're gonna try and have another run with these lads, and hopefully they stay fit. But I mean, there's just no inclination that Kawhi's going to play more than bloody 40 games a season. Yeah. I mean, apparently he just rocks up and is like, I'm not playing tonight. It's like a cheers for telling us. Yeah, thanks so much. By the way, how much did you pick up this week in salary? Oh, yeah, just a 3 mil, yeah. No, fair enough. So, they're going to have another run at those two. I mean, the Ty Lue must just pull his hair out, whatever hair he's got left anyway. Managing those two, given their injury record, but namely Kawhi. But when he's hot, he's hot. So looks like the Clippers will stay there. But with Kyrie, I think the big thing is, will Dallas be able to hold on to Luka Doncic for another couple of years after his contract runs out? So they made a big play for Kyrie, getting rid of a lot of some really good players, albeit rotational and starters. But they're pretty short-handed now. It looks like they've let go of Chris Wood as well. So I'm not sure. Mark Cuban's going to have to work some magic, because it's weird. Dallas Cowboys are the biggest franchise in the NFL, yet the Mavs and despite their success, with Dirk, for instance, just don't seem to be able to attract big free agents. But Luka Doncic, for all his class, I don't think he's the best player to play with, because he just keeps bouncing that rock. Doesn't spread that rock.
Funnily enough, I was reading something just about being draft week that it was the Hawks that originally actually drafted Doncic. And the Mavs
they did a trade with Trae Young,
and they actually swapped.
4 and 5. 4 and 5.
And now you look at it and you go, that's pretty fair. Both have carried their teams since they've been in the league. But both haven't been good enough to get them over the line either.
Doncic for me is a far better player. He's just the way he can control the game. The problem with Doncic is he literally bounces that ball till it goes bloody soft, mate. He does not pass the ball. He doesn't make his team better. So he plays at his own pace, and he's that good that he can just play it almost in sort of slow motion and still pick up 40 a night. But he just does not get the other boys engaged. That's what I mean. Tingus Pingus hated playing with him, and he's European, so he just doesn't. He doesn't make the other boys better.
I think he needs to lose a bit of weight and get fitter as well.
Yeah, well, that's always been the. I mean, he always plays. He always plays a load of games, but he almost plays himself into shape. Over the first 20 games instead of coming in looking lean. So it should be interesting, but. We'll see where those. It looks like it's going to be Wembanyama, Miller, and Scoot. It should be interesting to see how. And then the Twins. So it should be interesting to see how the next few weeks play out in terms of trades as we gear up for next season. But finishing off, good job on the Nuggets. What a team, and having the best player on the planet easily
It
helps. Certainly does. That's it.
Cool. Well,
all good, mate.
Much.
See you later, pal.
I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.